What is going on, guys? My name is LAKEY, back in with another YouTube video, and in today's video I've got my top 5 rules that every player needs to follow to build a solid roster for competitive Call of Duty. Now, I get loads of comments on my channel about how to actually go about building a team, because it's all well and good talking about sort of improving as a player, learning all the things around the map, but how do you actually go about finding a team that will allow you to compete in the Challengers Cups, play pro points really efficiently, because that is a lot more efficient with a team as opposed to every day having to try and find new players, and also to scrim with and just get better at the game with. So in today's video I've got my top 5 rules that I think you guys are going to like, so let's get straight into it. So step number 1, and this is probably the most important point, is make sure you've got Twitter. Literally everything for competitive COD, from getting pro points to organising scrims to finding teams, it all happens on Twitter. So if you don't have Twitter, you're missing out on pretty much the biggest portion of the competitive COD community that you can play with. So make yourself a little profile if you haven't got it already. I'm assuming you probably do, but here's mine at AKCOD. Go drop me a follow, there'll be a link in the description. But once you've done that, say you don't actually have anyone to play with, or maybe you do have a Twitter account but you still just aren't following anyone, how do you actually go about finding players that are going to sort of be able to play competitive COD and that you can actually sort of try and play with? Now, my personal way of doing this, or my guess way I'd advise doing this, I've already built up quite a few people that I know in the scene, but the best way I personally would do is go into your into the Twitter thing here and just type PPS, that's short for PPs or pro points, and then just search that, and then search by latest, and then you'll see people that are trying to play pro points. So as you can see, this H guy here, a guy I know, I follow him. He again was trying to play pro points, and then if he says EU and you're from Europe, then go follow that. If you're searching this sort of NA, North American times, there'll probably be North American players posting up, and just follow them, drop them a follow. They might not necessarily follow you back, but at least you're following them. So repeat that. As you can see, we have another player here, need one for PP, so follow them, and just sort of scroll down and find people that are talking about pro points, and just build up a few people that you're following. Then when you go to your timeline, you'll see these people tweeting out sort of need one for pro points, or need one for 8s, or anything like that, and then just reply to them. Now, you're not necessarily always going to get a response back, but this is why I sort of emphasise on actually making sure your profile makes it clear that you're a competitive COD player. Sort of get a little bit of interest going there. Start following a few of the CDL teams, things like that. Just sort of make people that are potentially considering playing with you sort of aware that you are knowledgeable in Call of Duty. Because of course, if they're taking a risk on someone that they've never played with before, they could be potentially wasting their time if you are not very good. So that's a risk that not many people are willing to take. So for those of them that are willing to take that, make sure that you're at least making it look like you're good. Now this brings me quite smoothly into point number 2, that is, if you've played with people, they're much more likely to actually want to team with you, as opposed to someone that you've just messaged on Twitter hoping you might get a response. So think about it. If you've played with someone in a pro point match before, or in 8s, and they've shown to you that they're actually a really good player, but maybe their Twitter profile has 10 followers or something, if you'd never played with them, you might not consider playing with them because you think, I don't really know who this person is, they're probably not very good, they're not very well known, they might, well, really not bring much to the team. But if they're someone that you have already played with, and regardless of that, you know they're a very, very good player, you are quite, or I'd assume, you're a lot more likely to actually want to play with them. And so for this reason, just try and play with as many people as possible. You don't have to necessarily play with them with the intention of teaming, but if at any point these people are looking for players to actually build a team, or need one for a team or anything like that, you can respond to these guys, and you'll know that actually they know how good you are because they've seen you play, as opposed to just being another random person on Twitter that is responding to sort of the team tweet. So get your name out there, play with as many people as possible, and try and get at least a little bit known, and that will help you quite a lot. Now bringing on to point number 3, which is something that I hate the fact that I have to say this, but I really do, and I have to emphasise this: don't expect results straight away. So I see loads of people that they'll play with people just for maybe a 2K tournament or one scrim, and if it doesn't go instantly right, they're assuming, no, this isn't the right person, we need to find someone else, and this just simply is not how it works. You have to actually put some time into people and sort of play with people for a while, give them a chance, and actually sort of let them prove to you whether they are good or not. If you play 5 scrims with a person and there isn't a map where they're going positive, then yeah, maybe they're not quite of the right skill level. But if you just play one map with someone and then judge them completely off that, you're really not going to be getting a good sort of overall image of how good people are, because there's games where I've played bad and there's games where I've played amazing, but I don't want to be judged on individual maps. You want to judge someone on their sort of overall average performance. So if you are serious about making a team with someone, don't judge them on sort of one scrim or one match or anything like that in specific. Give them a bit of time, and again, if you're trying to actually sort of join a team, make that clear to them, because let's be honest, everybody has bad games, and maybe it's unfortunate that that is in the game that you're sort of being trialed, but make it clear that if you do play bad, that's not how you normally play, and anything like that, and hopefully they'll give you a bit of time and actually let you prove yourself. Now this brings me on to point number 4, and this is build a team for the long term. You don't want to build a team for the short term, a team that you think is going to fall apart quite quickly. If you're building a team, it's because you want to stick together. Really, it helps if you've got a long-term goal. I know when LAN events come back, that's actually going to be really big because you can say as a team, all right, we want to work towards playing at this LAN event, and that actually gives you all something to sort of grind for together as a team. So you want to really pick a goal. Maybe it's to qualify for champs, or maybe it's to place top 64 in a tournament. Whatever level you're at, sort of pick a goal and then build a team to actually achieve that goal. Now this also means picking players that actually are going to work well together, both in terms of roles, so making sure that you don't have 4 ARs on one team or 4 SMGs, making sure that you've got a well sort of balanced roster. That's quite important for long term. But also considering the actual sort of people in there. Are they people that are going to get annoying very quickly? Because you can normally tell with personalities fairly quickly after a game or two the kind of people that people are. So make sure that when you're building it, it's okay to argue, it's okay to disagree on things, but make sure they're not people that are going to sort of get you annoyed every time you come online and just sort of drain your passion for COD, because these people do exist. But just make sure that when you're building a team, everybody's got the same goals and you want to sort of achieve something in the future that you can all sort of work towards. And last but not least, rule number 5 is don't burn bridges. So what does this mean? This basically means if you've stopped teaming with people, or if you've played with some people before, don't try and ego them. I know people have very big egos in the competitive COD community. It's, I think, pretty much what the community is known for. But try not to make sort of enemies with people, because you never know what opportunities these people might have for you in the future. Because you see these people that simply refuse to play with half of the community because they don't like them or whatever reason. But if any of these people have potential team opportunities that this person wants to play for, there's no way they're going to play with them just because they simply don't like them. Now, I'm not saying it's okay to dislike people in the community. Like, it's natural. There are always going to be people that you don't get on with and you don't agree with. But as a rule of thumb, don't try and make that everybody. Make that as few people as possible so that you have the most options sort of available to you when looking for teams, looking for people to play pro points with, all things like that. I mean, having enemies is only going to make it harder. Well, that's then done. Hopefully you guys have found today's video helpful. If you do, be sure to drop a like. Let me know what you guys are playing for. If you're looking to build a team, what do you want to do? Do you want to try qualify for champs? Are you going to try and make a run in a league or something? Let me know what your guys' sort of visions are and the goals you guys want to complete. But hopefully you guys enjoyed. Drop a like if you did, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a good one.